Hi, I want you to know that it's okay to disappoint other people, but don't disappoint yourself. I heard a quote from an actress named Viola or Viola Davis. Viola? Okay, my wife corrected me. She's
Start again. Start again.
she's sitting here,
Start again.
and we will continue.
Actor.
We will continue with this actor. Okay.
Actor.
She corrected me again. Okay. So,
Sorry.
Viola Davis, the actor, said the following quote: "When it comes down to disappointing other people or yourself, choose other people all the time. In fact, it is your job to disappoint as many people as you can so that you do not disappoint yourself." Well, when I heard that today, it made me a little uncomfortable. I was like, oh, well, is that kind of selfish? Or, like, shouldn't you be looking out for other people and not just yourself all the time? Like, maybe that's kind of like narcissistic or something. But I think that that's not what she was saying. And I think she was really speaking to people who put other people ahead of themselves repeatedly, all the time. And they don't really put themselves first when they need to. I think she was speaking to people that include myself. So I wanted to talk about that in today's video. Because, I think in this culture there is this push for people to be told that they need to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, whatever that means. What is the greater good? They need to sacrifice themselves for their community. They need to sacrifice themselves for some ideal, or some flag, or some political ideology, or some religious idea. People are lauded as heroes when they choose actions that destroy themselves but help somebody. You don't even have to look farther than like the most common religion in the United States. That's somebody who chose to die for other people. It's a story of self-sacrifice. So yeah, this is very pervasive. It's a very pervasive idea, concept that I think makes people think that they need to sacrifice themselves. And I did that for many years. And it's very hard, I think, to unlearn because it's so pervasive in society, and the stories that we're told and the stories that are held up on a pedestal. And it makes me wonder why. Why is that story so common? What's the reason for that? Well, you viewers probably have ideas about why that story is so common. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say in the comments. I do read the comments. Sometimes the comments are very interesting and insightful. Sometimes the comments I'm like, what? I don't understand what this person is saying. And then sometimes I'm like, is this a bot or a real person? but I do read them. So I'd be interested to hear what you have to say, whether you're a person or a bot, AI. So why is that story so common? Well, my thinking about why this is so common is because we live in a system, a hierarchical system, that really sucks for the majority of the people, because the system is made to benefit the few more than the majority. And so, because we live in a system that is great for a few, namely like billionaires, people with the right color skin for the system, or people who are just born in the right country, at the expense of everybody else, which is like the majority, vast majority. So I think this kind of story is useful in a system like this, where you have to, where the majority of the people have to like live lives that they don't really like, that they wonder why do I have to live this way? But I guess it's just the way it has to be, and I guess I gotta work my ass off to add a few dollars to that rich person's bank account who has a private jet and in a yacht, because I'm sacrificing myself for the greater good. So I'm a good person. I'm doing the right thing. I'm toiling away in an Amazon factory where this robot tells me what I gotta do every 30 seconds, and if I don't do it on time, I get dinged. In fact, I can't even pee without getting timed. But I'm sacrificing myself for the greater good, so that's a good thing, because that's what everyone says, and that's the stories that are told. I think that story is so common and so pervasive because you need to tell that story, and you need people to believe that story for this system to keep going, to keep churning through people that sacrifice themselves over and over and over, years and years and decades, and they die, and then their children go through the same thing. If you had stories that told a different story, if you had stories of people like Viola Davis was saying, who make sure that they don't disappoint themselves. Even if it means disappointing other people, it doesn't mean they're hurting other people. It just means they disappointed other people. You can disappoint someone and not hurt them. If you told stories like what Viola Davis is saying, about people who stuck up for themselves, who made sure that they did actions that they felt okay with, that matched their values, that matched their ideals, that made them happy, that brought them joy, that brought them peace, even if it meant disappointing other people. If you told stories like that repeatedly, over and over, like this culture tells the other story, like over and over, I mean, there's something to be said for repeating things until it becomes true. If you keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again, I mean, there's actually a pretty good chance people will think that is real, because why would someone keep saying the same thing over and over again if it was fake, if it was a lie? If people told this story, I think people would actually live very differently. I think they would say, why Why is this system set up this way? Why did we choose to set up the system this way? This is crap. I don't want to live this way. Yeah. That's part of why I've made this channel, because, well, I didn't make this channel to do that. It just kind of evolved into that. I made this channel to show the beauty of the mountains I live next to, and hang out with my doggy, Doobie. That's why I made this channel. But then I made that one video about quitting my job. And I think that speaks exactly to the kind of story Viola Davis is talking about. Disappointing other people, but not disappointing myself. I left neurosurgery, and I disappointed a lot of people. I disappointed the people that trained me. I disappointed the colleagues that I worked with. I disappointed the patients that I had taken care of and were still taken care of up until the time I left. I disappointed viewers who think that I'm wasting my hard-earned medical knowledge that a lot of people invested a lot of time and money into my training. Yeah, I disappoint those people. But you know who I didn't disappoint? I didn't disappoint myself. My wife is clapping, snapping. I did not disappoint myself, and that makes me happy. That makes me really happy. Yeah, I agree with Viola Davis. And I think that there need to be more stories like this. Because, really, frankly, the other story about destroying yourself for the good of some capitalist crony who insider trades with his buddies who all happen to be white and Christian, or Christian by description, even though they do horrible things, which doesn't fit what Christians supposedly uphold. I think that living that kind of life, where you sacrifice yourself for those people that they don't care about you, they probably even take pleasure in like the fact that they have power over people and make them self-destruct. It's awful. That story is BS. This story is a true story. There's truth to it. The story of sticking up for yourself. One thing that I've noticed is that when someone tells a lie, it takes a ton of effort to disprove the lie. Ton. Because you're trying to disprove something that doesn't exist. So someone who keeps telling lies over and over and over again, they just build up a lot of work for other people to try to disprove those lies, because for every lie that's told, you have to work 10 times as hard to disprove it. I wonder if it works the other way for someone who tells a true story. Something with truth in it. Something that is a truth that is obscured by all these lies. All these stories that are meant to keep people shackled in their minds. What happens if you tell the truth? Does it take 10 times the amount of effort to disprove the truth? Can you disprove the truth? Well, that's an interesting question. I feel like the truth is like a diamond. It's like a diamond. And then you can bury it in sand. You can throw that diamond, you can throw it on a beach, and then you can cover it up with sand. You can bring dump trucks of sand. Maybe, but that's not true. And that's what I used to think. I used to think that that diamond can get lost in a beach, and that there's people that hire other people to bring in dump trucks of sand to cover up that diamond so you can't find it anymore. But I'm not so sure that what I had thought is actually correct. I think that diamond of truth, I think it actually shines a light that's really bright. And that even though people who don't want other people to know the truth bring in dump trucks of sand, try to cover up that diamond, the light is so strong it shines through the piles of sand above it, and you can find that diamond again. Maybe that's just hopeful thinking on my part, but I think that people can sense the truth when they see it. I think that's why that one video I made about me quitting and the issues with corporate medicine in Western society, epitomized by spine surgery. I think that's why so many people watch that video. And this thing of not disappointing myself and being okay with disappointing other people. Because you know what? Other people don't really care. They don't really care. They just care about their own lives. They might care about my life for like a split second or a minute max, and then they keep thinking about their own lives. So why would I sacrifice my life for someone else who only thinks about me for a fraction of a second? But I did do that for a long time. So yeah, I wanted to say, don't disappoint yourself. And do disappoint other people, because you know what? Honestly, they probably won't remember it 5 minutes from now. I think that's the main thing I wanted to say today. But I there's a couple other things I want to say. I don't know how long I've been going. Wow, I've been going 19 minutes. Okay. There's a couple things I wanted to say. It has to do with memory and time. But you know what? That's probably its own topic. I'm going to end this one here and then make the other one. Because that's kind of a little bit of a separate topic. It's related, but it's a little separate. All right, well, thanks for listening to this video. Hope you have a good day or evening. And yeah, the next video I'm going to make right now will be about forgetting, memory, and time. Bye.